Welcome to SLO Talk Live. It's James Davis here in SLO Talk Studios in San Luis Obispo, California. And this is an exciting day. Thank you all for tuning in, and also for the people who are going to see this on YouTube. This is actually celebration week for our 5th anniversary. SLO Talk started just about 5 years ago, and we started streaming live. And there's a few people that I want to acknowledge right off the bat. Before I do that, I want to mention our guest today. We've got Mark Schaffer coming right up. Mark is the executive director with Ride On Transportation and United Cerebral Palsy of San Luis Obispo, and we're going to talk about some exciting stuff and a concert coming up. And then also in our second hour, we've got Louie Ortega and Talia Ortega. But getting back to SLO Talk, really excited about all the people that have been involved that have made this possible. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Brad and Jennifer Golden. They're the guys that came and had this idea and partnered with me to make this happen. And Ernie and Rachel Ray, the building owners up in Atascadero, Craig Marshall, Greg Cunningham, Cecile Blancarte. I can go on and on and on. There's probably 50 to 100 names of people that have helped. And then if I start listing guests, but I just, I'm really grateful that you guys, you folks have been tuned in, supporting the SLO Talk podcast and the podcasting studio. So I just want to thank you with all my heart today. And now, gosh, back in the studio multiple times, different locations. My good friend, also the executive director of Ride On Transportation, United Cerebral Palsy of San Luis Obispo, Mark Schaffer. Hey, Mark.
All right. Hey, James. Congratulations on 5 years. Podcasting is awesome. It's a part of everyday life now, and it's great you're a part of it.
I appreciate that. And we've had the privilege of not only, doing the SLO Talk and SLO Good Life podcast, but you came in and did a whole series of Life Without Limits and talking about all your different activities in the community and stuff.
Yeah, it adds a lot to our website that people can click on those and get a little bit more background information about what we do and what our mission is and our vision.
It keeps you from answering all those questions over the phone all the time, too. I mean, really, people call up all the time. If you can go to a website and get, recent, good, fresh information, that's icing on the cake.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, Mark, gosh, there's a lot of exciting things on the agenda. One of the big things today that we're talking about is the Veterans Benefit Concert. And this is an annual event that supports Ride On Transportation and specifically the Veterans Express Shuttle. For the folks that are tuning in and they know about concerts, what's the cause? What is the Veterans Express Shuttle?
Yeah, it's so great. Louie Ortega and his friends play every year. I think this is like the 7th year. We've had different venues. But the Veterans Express is a service that we started specifically to help get veterans that didn't have cars to their medical appointments. And at one point, many of their appointments were all the way down in Santa Barbara, LA. And so we'd pick them up at home and take them down to a bus that would take them down. And then when they came home at 7:30 on the bus, we'd pick them up and take them back home. Now they kind of changed the rules. It's a good change that if you have to travel that far, you can go to local doctors. So now our Veterans Express is taking veterans, pick them up at their door all throughout the county, anywhere in the county, and take them right to their medical appointment. And it's just $3 each way. The great thing about the Veterans Express is we've done all this fundraising in the beginning because there was no funding for it. Since then, SLOCOG has stepped up, and they're funding a portion of the Veterans Express now. So we don't have to do as much fundraising, but and we have some people out in the community that make donations to the Veterans Express. It's just a small part of what Ride On does, but really it's one of our dearest programs to be able to help out veterans.
So a veteran, active duty, retired, any category of veteran, can call, and what's that number, Mark, for folks to jot down?
So they can just call us at Ride On, 805-541-8747. Just tell us that you're a veteran, and we'll get you in our computerized system. So we'll get your home address and where you're going.
Yeah.
And then every time you call after that, you just tell us where you're going and what time.
And then you just dial
and we
it
just
in.
schedule it all in. And yeah, $3 each way. So throughout the whole county.
That's what I've got to ask. If I'm out in Shandon and I've got a bungalow way out in the sticks, $3, and I can get a ride to the appointment.
Yeah, you can go to Templeton, a medical appointment all the way in Templeton. So
And then pick back up, and for an additional $3 to go back.
right.
So essentially, the funds that are donations in the community, and a portion from SLO COG, the people that show up at the concert and support it or give a donation directly, that keeps this service operating for our local veterans in this county.
It not only keeps it operating, but like right now we have to limit, to 2 trips a month. So if our funding, if we do well on funding, we can increase that to 3 trips per individual per month. So
You can
that's why
exhaust-
fundraising is so important, because we have more and more people.
Yeah.
And often they have more than 2 appointments in a month.
I was going to say, you can exhaust 2 appointments pretty quick. And then you have to rely on family or friends, and with gas prices and things, that's very difficult sometimes.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
I know we had some veterans calling you guys up, and they would normally get transportation from a neighbor, but when gas prices went higher, they had to kind of choose who they were going to drive where, and so it's even put more pressure on the demand.
Yeah. And we also have some veterans that are getting dialysis that they have to go in 3 times a week for treatment, and they aren't covered by SenCal. And so we've set up a special funding to help them get to their appointments, because they have to get those dialysis treatments to stay alive. So Right On does some extra funding from some of our services actually make money. And
to assist.
Yeah, to help other, special cases like that.
You know what? Speaking of sponsorship, because Right On sponsors this event, sends a team out to help, does a lot of publicity through different outlets. Sponsorship's critical. And I want to thank the people that have come on board already, Mark, this year. Of course, Monty Schaller, the Siren in Morro Bay, our venue. We went and talked to them. They welcomed us, welcomed the event. I consider the band. Louie Ortega is one of our sponsors. He comes out and brings his best, the all-star band, and we're so appreciative of that. The sound guys. And then in addition, we also have Megan's Organic Market is coming forward again and sponsoring the event. And, of course, Slow Talk is one of our sponsors, too. And we're excited about being involved. And in our county, what's the percentage? 8 to 10% of all people in the county are veterans, active or retired?
Yeah, I think it's about 8%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so veterans of all ages, all groups, all areas of the county can benefit from this and also help us get the message out.
Right, and that's a big part of this too. There are veterans out there that don't know about Veterans Express. So events like this give us the opportunity to make sure anybody that needs a ride to a medical appointment, the Veterans Express is there to help get them to the appointment.
Yeah. Well, speaking of events, let me just say the date and give a few of the details because it's exciting. Louie's agreed to, bring the band, bring the all-star band, Louie Ortega, Grammy Award-winning artist, local native son. People love Louie. It's almost like your best next-door neighbor. He's just such a good guy. But it's going to be at the Siren this year in Morro Bay, Sunday, November 6th. What time, Mark?
It'll be 4 to 6.
4 to 7, I think.
4 to 7.
I'm
Thank
asking
you.
I got it written down right
Okay,
here.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and the good thing is, you can watch your football and still come to the concert at 4.
That's
so
it. That's it. Yeah. So evening's going to be easier for folks on a Sunday night. If folks have not been to the Siren, they've done an incredible remodel there. They've got a beautiful stage, great sound equipment, good food. It's a good hang. And tickets are online right now, I understand, too, Mark, right?
Yeah, on my805tix.com, just the Veteran Express benefit concert. And there's all kinds of information about the event, and we make it so easy to buy your tickets. And we did a special deal where it's $20 a ticket,
Mm-hmm.
but with a second person, you can get 2 for $30.
Oh, I like that. A little
So
bit of a
that's-
break.
Yeah, so
A little bit of incentive to grab a date or
yeah,
a
have a
significant
date
other.
or a friend and
Nice,
come on
nice.
over, and it's going to be just amazing. And all the ticket proceeds will go to the Veterans Express. So that's amazing. The Siren is really supporting this event in our service for the veterans.
You know, I just want to say, agree with you. We're so grateful for the venue because that's the big part of trying to get a concert going. Picking the right place, picking a great place, great sound. And the Siren is just that kind of place we have on the Central Coast. They're all in, and every penny of the ticket purchase goes 100%, not just a small fee, but all of it goes directly towards keeping that shuttle going, which is really cool.
Yeah, and the All-Stars come from all over the state. I mean, they really enjoy coming and playing once a year to support the Veterans Express. And these guys are tight. They've been playing together for a long time.
Louie's got some good friends, and when Louie picks up the phone and says, "Hey, you want to come help me out?" He gets a lot of yeses, man. So we're looking forward. I haven't heard the lineup yet, but I know he's working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh. And Mark, folks that are tuning in that may not be familiar with Ride On and they're driving around, describe what these vans look like. They're pretty identifiable, pretty catchy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody has seen the white van with the distinctive Ride On logo on it. And we have 85 vehicles in our fleet.
Really?
Again, we're a nonprofit organization, and we provide all kinds of transportation. We take individuals with developmental disabilities to their programs. We do SendCal transportation for everybody, but often it's individuals in wheelchairs. We also have a mental health shuttle where we do long distance rides to either bring people back into our county for treatment, but to assist with that whole process. We provide rides for seniors. We also have an evening and weekend service for folks with developmental disabilities that helps them get out into the community. They're often working and going to day programs during the day. And so the CIP program gets them out there so they can enjoy their community because most of them can't drive. So we're their wheels. And then we got some really unique things we're doing now. We've teamed up with a SLO food bank, and we have 8 routes that operate every week, delivering groceries to 200 seniors that are not able to get out to the grocery store. Wow. So we've teamed up with them and Wilshire, and we're just putting this amazing program to get food to people.
Is that Wilshire Home Health Care?
Wilshire Community Services.
Community Services.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great folks.
Yeah,
Great
and then we also serve the general public. We take people to the airport. We do wedding shuttles and all kinds of special event shuttles as well. And then another part of what Ride On does is we support other social service agencies by doing maintenance on their vehicles, helping them with their driver training, getting ready for their CHP inspections. So, and most of those services are basically free. It's part of our mission to just make transportation safe and affordable at the social service level
in our local community throughout the county. Mark, are drivers in demand? Do you guys always need additional drivers to
Yes,
come on board?
Drivers are always in demand, and our services are ramping back up now.
More activity, more people going.
Yeah, so we are actively seeking drivers, and we pay for all the training, so you don't have to have a commercial C license. We'll help you get that, and we'll pay you during your training time. So, yeah, people that are interested, it is such a rewarding job to be helping people that couldn't get around on their own, doing that all day. It's very exciting. It's a very high-tech job, with tablets on board with your schedules.
So you rely a lot on electronics and connections and stuff.
Yeah, and all the scheduling is all done by computers, of course.
Wow.
And
wow.
it makes us it makes us very responsive to to calls. And, we're getting more and more same-day calls, and we're able to help people out with those.
Where would somebody go if they're thinking, gosh, I might be interested in applying, or I have some interest? Where would they go to get some more information on that?
So you can go to the website, which is ride-on.org, or you can call the office, 805-541-8747, and just say you'd like some information about becoming a driver. We can help you out with that.
Oh, great. And then you also wear another hat. You are the executive director of the United Cerebral Palsy of San Luis Obispo. And then you've got an event, I think, coming up right in October that you'd like to share with the audience today.
Yeah. Before I share that, though, I like to share that United Cerebral Palsy, our name's a little deceptive because really only about 12% of the individuals we serve have cerebral palsy.
Okay.
We're part of a national organization with that name. And so we service individuals with all kinds of developmental disabilities, and our mission is for their full participation in their community.
So that covers a lot of individuals in our county,
yes,
our area.
It does.
Thank you for that clarification.
It does.
Maybe before we get into that, maybe we should cue up that video. I just remembered we have a video produced on YouTube, and maybe we can ask Griffin, our engineer, to bring that up and give folks a little more understanding visually about what Ride On, the Veterans Express Shuttle does.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
At the age of 17, I volunteered to go in the Marine Corps. Went to Camp Pendleton and graduated there before shipping me out overseas. Ride On is real good to us, to the VA people. They pick me up, take me to Santa Maria, take me to San Luis, catch a bigger bus, take me to LA. Ride On been there for me.
The service provides the transportation for our veterans that will supply the rides to their appointments and home for $3 each way. They served our country, and I want to help support them and get them where they need to go.
If you don't got a ride, call them up and they'll give you a ride. All you got to do is ask.
All right. Gosh, that was great. Thanks, Mark, for bringing that, man.
Yeah. No, that's really portrays what it's all about, to be able to be there and connect the veteran with their medical appointment.
I've actually met vets in the community, just mentioned the concert, inviting people. And it's so fulfilling to meet a veteran or veterans that say, I ride that bus. I depend on that bus. Mm-hmm. And so it's not just statistics or numbers. There are people in our community that have these needs that are being met. And kudos to you guys and the team over there doing that, Mark.
Yeah, and we probably should tell the story of Greg Scheer, who
the start of the whole thing.
The father of the Veterans Express. Now it's about 14 years ago. He had all these canisters and was out trying to raise money to buy some vans to start a volunteer driving program. And somebody said, well, you need to go talk to Mark Schaffer if you want some transportation.
Yeah.
So I met Greg and said, well, you can use our vans. If you get volunteers, we'll work it out, train them, and you can go ahead and use our vehicles. Well, he couldn't really find too many volunteers. So we ended up just saying, hey, we'll raise money to help cover the cost, and we'll provide the ride. So it was Greg's vision, and he's been so actively involved in the fundraising all along the way. Mm-hmm. He has so much passion for the Veterans Express, and that's helped to drive us forward, and we really enjoy, as I said, providing this service for our veterans.
I really appreciate you mentioning Greg. He's an energetic guy. He just is passionate about seeing the needs of our veterans met, and according to him, why should we not step up to the plate, and he'll go and say that to folks and raise money, and he just cares and has a heart for the community, for veterans specifically. And so I agree with you, Greg. If you're listening to or watching, or you see this YouTube video, thank you so much for what you've done for the veterans in our community. Continue to do also.
Well, and he not only cares, but he's willing to go in there and advocate and put some pressure on the politicians. And it's helped SLO in funding us. People see the benefits of it. And so, he's been very beneficial to getting the service started and getting additional funding.
He's one of the unsung heroes behind the scenes, really, in our community.
Definitely.
Thank you, Greg Shearer, for everything you've done. Mark, shifting gears, UCP of San Luis Obispo. We talked briefly about the wide variety of individuals that are served in the county. And then there's an annual event that's pretty exciting. I know about it, but I want you to talk about what's coming right around the corner.
Sure. So it's our Walk Without Limits. And what it is the first 21 days in October, the 1st to the 21st, we have teams of 4, and each of the 4 teammates keep track of their equivalent of steps. So they could ride their bike, they could be working out at the gym, and we take those steps and we have a virtual race of all the teams from Eureka all the way down to San Diego. Oh. So each step equals a certain amount of miles. And so there's 3 different divisions. So we have one division that's very competitive, like 12,000 steps a day or more. Another one is 6,000. And then for the beginners, there's one that's 3,000. So you're in a division and you're doing extra exercise, and we feature each team on our website, and people come on and make donations for the team that they know the people for. And so pledges are how we generate funds to support our services. So.
And can people follow online and see where the teams are at as far as the steps to San Diego? Is that a virtual thing where they can see
They
that?
will be able to, and then we're going to be using Constant Contact to send it out to all the participants.
Excellent.
So twice a week they'll see where they are in the standings and get out there and do some more walking and running and cycling. And so, it's a good time to get out there, get in shape, and raise a little money for United Cerebral Palsy.
And this is one of your couple of big fundraisers during the year, right?
Yeah. We also have Thursday, October 6th, a drive-through barbecue where a family of 4, it's can get tri-tip, salad, bread, dessert, everything for $50, and you just pick it up and
convenient.
And there's your dinner.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's barbecued fresh right there at our office. So, and then we have Night Without Limits coming up in April 22nd of next year.
Has the theme been announced yet, or is that still being worked on?
It is. It's a James Bond theme.
Nice,
so,
nice.
Everybody will be
black tie and classy dress. And maybe some nice cars out there. Or maybe we'll get a car sponsor, Mark, and bring some nice cars out. Wouldn't that be great? BMW is coming up. Maybe we should go talk to BMW, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we bring on our next guests, I realize we have a video clip that was prepared for our audience to see what the concerts are like. I believe there's a video there, Griffin, that talks about concerts. It was made by, not sure. I thought we had a video that talked about a SLO talk, a snapshot of SLO talk, made by our friends from Platinum Peak Productions. Yeah. I think we can show that. It'll give our audience just a little taste of what these concerts are like. The last one we did was out at Slow Brew the Rock. And,
yes, that was a great one.
Had quite a... Actually, we've done several out there. And,
Two, check.
And hear the vocal?
1, 2, check. Thank you.
You guys are here for some music and a great time. Welcome to our online guest at SLO Talk Festival After Dark. All right, let the people know at home that we're all here having a good time. Give it up. So appreciative for this concert hall, this brewery, this business for allowing us to live stream from here today in support of the 10th annual Veterans Express Shuttle. All right, we're back live in the studio, and we're finishing up here with Mark Schaffer. Executive Director, Ride on Transportation, UCP of San Luis Obispo. And that's a little taste of the concert we've got coming up on Sunday, November 6th, 4 to 7 p.m.
That's right. And the tickets are available right now at my805tix.com. And also that video is on there as well. And we got some pictures on there. So, yeah, check it out.
Yeah,
And
two tickets for $30, one for 20. Encourage people to come in pairs and just enjoy the fun and support the Ride on Transportation Veterans Express Shuttle. Yeah.
Yep, it's a great service, and again, thanks to Louie and the All-Stars for again stepping up and supporting this great service.
It's going to be fun. Mark, thank you again for being our guest on Slow Talk Live. I look forward to having you back again soon, man.
All right.
Yeah, really appreciate working with you and everything you do in our community.
All right, James. Thanks. This is always fun.
All right. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Slow Talk Studio. James Davis here. And we have a couple of guests in today from mothersfornuclear.org. That's the website. And I'd like to introduce to my right, Kristin Zaits, co-founder, along with Heather Hoff, Hoff.
Hi, thanks for having us.
You know what? Absolutely. Welcome to Slow Talk Studios. And just met you all briefly a little bit earlier today. Realized we had a little bit of time in between segments and thought it was really important to talk about just nuclear power, but more specifically, nuclear power, Diablo plant right in our backyard. And the initiative is to try to keep, in a nutshell, Diablo open. Is that it?
Well, that's what we're trying to do.
All right.
Heather and I founded Mothers for Nuclear in 2016 when we realized that existing nuclear power plants, including Diablo Canyon, were at risk of premature closure. And why is that a big deal to us? Well, we both care a lot about the environment. We care about climate action. We care about land conservation. And we realized that when existing nuclear plants closed, they're mostly replaced with fossil fuels. And in California, that would be natural gas. That's just a step in the wrong direction for us. So that motivated us to do something about it. We started advocating for nuclear plants, here and all around the country. And now we have a new opportunity to keep Diablo Canyon operating with some pending legislation in the state that's potentially going to be introduced by the end of the month.
Okay. So to focus, the talk about the plant closing is what was the catalyst for you getting involved after you compared some of the options at that point of what we were looking at in the future. Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah, and we both were initially skeptical about nuclear energy and took a long time to change our minds. And, after we had done all this work changing our minds, we heard that Diablo Canyon might shut down. And we were like, what the heck? We just spent all this effort and realized how great it is. And we think this is a wrong decision. So we want to try and share what we've learned with the public, with the community. And we're super excited to be here talking with you about it today.
So if somebody is of the position, gosh, nuclear power is the worst option, the worst danger, X, Y, and Z, how would you begin just to explain some of the things that changed your viewpoint on nuclear power? Because you said you were pretty much against it and then began to go through this process. How would you capsulize that?
Well, if we were corporate nuclear spokespeople, we might say, oh, no, that's not the case at all. But we like to say, as mothers, we used to have a lot of those same feelings and a lot of those same opinions. We used to be, have concerns and not really know that much. So it's okay to ask those questions, and it's okay to have feelings that, nuclear seems a little scary sometimes, and that's okay. And we took a long time changing our minds and asking questions, and we're here to share with you how we made that change from being afraid, having some fear, to learning the data.
Because even the name, I've got to be honest with you, when I first heard it, Mothers for Nuclear, it almost sounds like Mothers for a Danger with all the coloration that's been done on nuclear power. It's almost like an exact opposite.
It definitely grabs people's attention, which is part of the reason it's such a great name.
Yeah. And the process, where did you get information as you began to study and look at other sides of the issue? Where did you go for resources?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you where I went for resources initially on everything I knew about energy, and that was the media, mostly The Simpsons. Whenever I was allowed to watch The Simpsons, I had to sneak it. I wasn't really allowed to watch it. My parents were kind of, careful that way. But, and I think that's where a lot of people get their nuclear information from. It's not very well covered in most schools. Energy in general isn't well covered. Like, why do we even need electricity? Right? Most people don't give enough credit to the value that electricity brings to us in our lives. Like, electricity is vital to our way of life, to human health, and to the environment. But when we don't, when we have blackouts, when we don't have electricity, people die. It's a big deal, and we need to, as a society, value that. So how do we find out more? Well, it's not, you have to read past the headlines, right? Those scary headlines about nuclear aren't in themselves communicating all that we need to know. Yeah. And so we just started digging, and there is a lot of information out there, but we went to places like the Energy Information Administration and the United Nations Committee on the Effects of Atomic Radiation, and we started digging into some of those sources instead of looking at, Facebook links.
Yeah. So for our viewers and listeners, Are on your website, are there resources right now that they can go to look and to verify and to follow some leads on for information?
Mostly on our website, we shared our personal stories about what we used to think, how we changed our minds, how we got that information, and why we think nuclear is so important now.
And the interesting thing about that is we found that most people, like me, I had these fears about it, but they weren't, what I didn't want was like a radiation mobile to come and teach me everything about the way nuclear energy works. But I wanted was someone to validate my fears and then kind of walk me through the high level basics. And then I could go on my own and dig into things. And so we're in our website, we're kind of trying to do the same thing. We're not trying to recreate these scientific resources. We're trying to lead with stories to get people more interested in asking more questions and finding out more.
Now, for the sake of our discussion, this is San Luis Obispo based, but nuclear power in general is a hot topic. What a heck of an analogy. But a very focused topic. It's in the news a lot because of Fukushima and questions about other plants. But for today's discussion, Diablo Canyon Nuclear Power Plant right in our backyard, probably 20 miles from this location right here, 25
Pretty close,
miles.
yeah.
With the zones and the concentric rings. Prior to your change of aspect of thinking, had you had an opportunity to tour PG&E, the plant, before?
I did tour Diablo Canyon once as a college student. I didn't know much about the plant, and I was curious. And so as an engineer, I thought it was very fascinating. There's lots of really big equipment out there, lots of really cool stuff. And so I had a basic idea what the plant was like. Never thought I would end up working there. And, after I graduated in engineering, I couldn't find a job locally, spent a couple years doing random jobs around town and making $7.50 an hour, and finally said, okay, I guess I'll try Diablo Canyon. And, I need a real job. And, went out there with a lot of questions. And I've worked there for 18 years now. It took me about 6 years of asking questions. What about this? This sounds scary. And, oh my gosh, why do we do it this way? It sounds stupid or, worrisome. And really digging into all those fears that I had from, growing up and from my family asking questions and being concerned with me working there. And so really dug in and, eventually realized that nuclear aligns really well with both my environmental and humanitarian values.
Now, initially, some people go, that's absolutely contrary, but in response to that, we're not just talking economic. There's safety issues. There's a lot of issues that are on the table that you have sifted through, and you feel very strongly that the best decision for this plant, and maybe in general, but let's talk about Diablo, would be to keep it running. And what's going to happen in 7 short days that's going to maybe decide the fate or the future of Diablo's operations?
Yes. So we've had a long time, years to be looking at all the issues, and the more we learn, the more convinced we are that we definitely need more electricity in California, and we will always need more clean electricity. So there's absolutely no reason to shut down existing clean energy. It's an amazing plant. We're always going to need it. And so, we like to share that message as widely as we can.
Because my understanding is we do not have, immediately as Diablo shuts down, the resources ready to come online. It's all talk about all the different options, wind power, geothermal, solar, you can go right through the line. But those are starting very early on in the development in the big scheme of things. So as Diablo closes down, if you look at the data that's available right now, my understanding is there will not be enough power to meet those needs that Diablo meets right now.
And that's a really compelling reason to keep Diablo Canyon operating because, as I was saying earlier, reliable electricity is vitally important to all of us. And it's something that a lot of us just tend to take for granted, right? But we've gone through the last couple summers and wildfire seasons and the threat of rolling blackouts, flex alerts where we have to stop using as much electricity. And people who lose electricity in those events, they really gain a new appreciation for just how important it is in their lives. A lot of folks that need electricity for their medical devices. And so I think Californians have kind of started to gain more appreciation for it. And that point, the point that we need Diablo Canyon for reliability is really resonating more with people.
And in Texas, I just remembered what happened last winter, were several hundred people, I think, died, people on emergency life support systems because of grid failures throughout the state. And California's had blackouts, brownouts. We're not immune. And anyway, those are very concerning to people who are on life support and systems. And
Oh,
things.
absolutely. You know, when I was young, I lived in a rural area and we'd lose electricity all the time in the winter. We were like at the end of the line. And so we were always the last ones to be restored. And, you know, we'd lose some food from the fridge, but we'd usually move it outside, you know, because it was cold enough. We had a wood stove, so we still had heat. We didn't have water because we'd lose our well pump. It was a pain, but we kind of, you know, we got through it. And so that's kind of what I thought, oh, it's a pain, but we can get through it. And then when I was older, I met a friend who requires medical equipment just to breathe. To breathe, he needs electricity. And then in one of my early jobs, I toured a manufacturing facility where a local company they were extruding plastics. And they had these really expensive machines. And they said if they were to lose electricity in the middle of their production, they would lose hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment. And so that, you know, even, you know, learning those first few things, I started to think differently about how important reliable electricity is to all of us. So we shouldn't want a future in California where people don't have reliable electricity, because people will die, their businesses will be harmed, and quality of life will be impacted.
We have a really good friend, my wife and I, local friend who's on home dialysis. And I would shudder to think what would happen if we had a major blackout because of his location. And you know, how would he get that done if he was on in the middle of the night and he had to go 6 hours without? I mean, that could be, and this is just one individual, one community, and you magnify that. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. So Heather and I, when we started Mothers for Nuclear, we were really interested in climate action. You know, I was concerned that we were using so much natural gas in California, and it's still a big, strong issue for both of us. But as we've learned more about electricity, I still talk about climate action and the need to reduce carbon emissions quite a bit. It's still important to me, but I also recognize there's so many other good reasons why we need to have Diablo Canyon and other existing nuclear plants stay online.
Yeah. From an economic perspective, go right ahead, Heather. I think you were getting ready to say something.
Just speaking of climate action and natural gas, a lot of people don't realize that 50% of California's electricity is still supplied by natural gas. Another full 30% is imports from other states. And so when we begin to look at, you know, current situation in Ukraine and the desire to get off foreign gas supplies, you know, that becomes a really good, you know, point for having secure energy source here in state. Diablo Canyon, you know, is different than natural gas. And if we shut it down, we'll become more reliant on that other source of energy that we're trying not to rely on as much.
I like the framing of secure energy source in comparison with the other options. And then you talk about recent situations like in, you know, Ukraine and the impact that that's had on exports and things. Yeah, just a house of cards. And that's one situation.
Right.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the next.
Well, I wanted to come back. You mentioned in terms of being in the community and hearing about Diablo Canyon, our local nuclear plant, and hearing about zones. And that just reminded me that I think a lot of our communications surrounding nuclear have to do with emergency planning and kind of scary things, you know, like here's, you know, everything that we're doing in case something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And that's been a lot of the outreach to the community. So I kind of don't blame people in our community for, you know, having a lot of feelings that, you know, maybe there's this kind of looming danger just right, you know, next door. And I hope, you know, with Mothers for Nuclear, we try and talk about nuclear differently, talk about the value that nuclear provides instead of how prepared we are for emergencies. Which we are, amazingly.
Yeah, I think both can be true. We can both be prepared for emergencies, and we can talk about the value that nuclear provides to our community. And I certainly hope, as Heather and I have been doing, I certainly hope that we as a community can start talking about the latter, about what it provides to us. And certainly locally, I appreciate the clean air, number one. I also appreciate the economic benefit to this area of the state. You know, there's not a lot of opportunities to have a high-paying job around here, and Diablo Canyon provides a lot of head-of-household jobs, and not to mention, you know, the local economic ripple effects from all the people coming in to support outages.
Absolutely true. It's easy to talk about things, and you have things get taken away. You have to look at it in a different perspective.
Right.
I'd much rather have that discussion be rich, full, detailed and done properly than have people look back and go, what did we do? So in 7 days, the legislature is going to meet, and basically, what are they going to decide about this issue? What kind of things are going on?
Well, in 2016, due to state policies that don't value nuclear, a movement was put into place to close Diablo Canyon at the end of its current operating licenses. So we have 2 units out there, 2 reactors, and the operating licenses expire in 2024 and 2025. So in 2016, some organizations signed on along with PG&E to agree that PG&E would not pursue relicensing. So that agreement has been in place ever since then, and now the governor has made some signals that he's open to reversing that decision because of the looming energy crisis in California, because reliable electricity is so important to Californians, and because closing down 20% of our clean electricity is not a great thing, not a great look for a state that's trying to take action on climate.
No, absolutely. And I think in this instance, I'm grateful for the governor setting this initiative, realizing that it requires state leadership, and it also requires a lot of people being involved. The website, once again?
Mothersfornuclear.org.
All right. And then we talked a little bit about fundraising, and you said we're always fundraising. We always need extra resources. So as a nonprofit organization, what do the primary resources go to when people give to Mothers for Nuclear?
Yeah, well, we're pretty small and we don't have any major funders. Most of what we raise money for is things like running our website, making sweaters that we can sell.
We have one part-time employee now. We're really proud of that. We hired our first communications fellow, so part of the donations will help pay for her.
Excellent.
Yeah, so just small organizational expenses, also sending Heather and I and others in our organization, other spokespeople, to different events to represent the cause.
Advocacy work.
Yeah, all advocacy work and just sharing the value of nuclear with different audiences.
Are there other organizations in California similar to yours that are really trying to keep nuclear power viable?
There are quite a few now, and it's been an amazing growth to see over the last 6 years. We get more and more partner organizations that we're working with, like Stand Up for Nuclear, and there's one called Generation Atomic that's in a different area of the country. But all of these groups, we're a pretty small, pro-nuclear community, and we all work together and support each other. And so even Generation Atomic, comes and helps us work on saving Diablo. So it's
And the
great.
really exciting thing is that a lot of these organizations are full of young people. They are young people who are really passionate and excited about doing this, and just passionate about the cause. It makes Heather and I seem like the elders of the group, and I'm not actually that old.
That's funny. That's funny. And oh my gosh, before we leave, I want to make sure that we cover all the details here. And if somebody says to you, gosh, you're only doing this for economic reasons because you have a job there and stuff. I mean, you've probably heard that. And if you lost your job tomorrow, there's still a compelling reason on safety issues and the greater economic interest of our area,
Yeah, certainly if we were doing this just to keep our jobs, I don't think that would be motivation enough for us to put all this time and energy. We're both well educated. We could get other jobs. And actually, I work right now on the decommissioning planning. So my job will go away if we keep Diablo Canyon open. And I can't wait for that job to go away.
We generally love our jobs, though. And of course, we want to keep them. But we will keep doing Mothers for Nuclear. We will keep spreading the value of nuclear energy regardless of which path Diablo Canyon goes down. There's so many other plants, and around the world, countries like Germany have shut down a lot of their nuclear plants, mostly over fear of accidents, and Fukushima, and now all of Europe is in a worse situation because of those kind of decisions. So we have a German chapter of Mothers for Nuclear, and they're over there sharing their stories.
And on the jobs piece, I'll just say nuclear jobs are some of the best jobs. Like both Heather and I, like when I say I'm happy for my job to go away, I do not want to go work in some other industry. I love working in nuclear. I love working at Diablo Canyon. I'd like to stop planning the decommissioning, put that on the shelf for a while, because all of the work that's been done is great and still can be used later. But there's a lot of work to be done to relicense and to continue supporting the operation of that great facility.
I have to say, I had the privilege of touring about 6-7 years ago the Diablo Canyon power plant. My cousin Gary Close, Family and Friends program, got my wife and I, one of our sons, Aunt Marilyn, we all got to go in, Gary's mom, and it was just fascinating after being a resident here for a couple of decades to go in and to see the plant and how much goes into keeping that plant secure, not just in building, but operations.
Yeah, tours were on hold for quite a while due to COVID, and we've recently started those up again. So I hope a lot of our community will come out there and see how amazing the plant is and ask lots of great questions. And also, if they have questions for us, we hope that they'll reach out. We're at info@mothersfornuclear.org. They can email us anytime.
Excellent. Heather, Kristin, thanks so much for being on Slow Talk Live today. Really appreciate you coming to the studio and sharing your stories with us and also your passion for this cause.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for
Glad to be
having us.
here.
Have a great afternoon. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome to Slow Talk Live. I'm your host, James Davis, here at Slow Talk Studios, and I'm excited for this segment of the program. In the studio today are some good friends, very talented people. Some of you folks know these guys, some don't. You're in for a treat today. Mr. Louie Ortega, Grammy Award-winning artist, local friend. And then Louie brought along his daughter, or she brought along herself. She showed up today. I'm so excited. Talia Ortega. And the Ortegas in the studio today. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Good to be here, James.
Yeah, I think we need to get Talia a little closer to the mic. I think so, right? All right.
Sure thing.
All right, there we go. Hey, Louie, my gosh, man, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Considering, things are picking up after this pandemic and stuff, and we're looking forward to the our event that we do with the vets.
So, oh yeah, that's right. That's coming up in November.
Correct.
Our annual Veterans Benefit Concert. And now the rumor is, Louie, you're bringing the All-Star Band. The All-Stars are coming, man.
Yeah, usually we come as Rio Salinas or even Sons of the Caballeros, but a couple of the players aren't able to make it this go-round, so I'm going to put some pieces together called Louie Ortega All-Stars, or Louie Ortega and the All-Stars.
Love it, man.
So it'll be some great players, and I might even, wrangle my daughter to come in and play some flute too and sing.
I'll tell you what, we would absolutely love that if Talia was able to be there. Sunday the 6th of November, 4 to 7.
I think I can be wrangled.
Oh,
yeah.
my gosh.
You know what? That's the 6th of November.
Oh, I like that. And then the B-side is I Think I Can Be Wrangled.
There you go.
That's right.
It's a hit.
Right. Well, a little bit later in the stream here, I understand we're going to be having you all perform a couple of songs and also streaming a couple of songs that you produced in the studio. We're looking forward to that. So tip the cards. But Louie, you've been playing a little bit more lately around the county, man?
I have been. I've had some things open up, some wineries, and a good staple too is McClintock's and Shell Beach has been
that's pretty nice.
Opened up for me. So I go do a solo there. I'll be there this Friday, actually.
That's pretty cool, man. I remember when you played at McClintock's, people took a bunch of pictures. I heard about it. I think it was towards the tail end of when they started letting people out again.
Right, exactly. And so some of the wineries too. So if I've got a new site, it's called LouieOrtega.net. So if they go to that site, they'll have all my schedule.
LouieOrtega.net.
Correct.
And then I've noticed, Louie, just going out to shows the last few months, the crowds have been off the charts. People are wanting to get out, be out, enjoy music.
Absolutely.
Man, I don't think I'm ever going to take it for granted again, what we have here,
No, it's such a groove, because people are really, want to feel good, and music makes them feel good, and and plus we got the good restaurants around the area that makes everybody feel good.
It really goes together well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
So, talking about the Vets event, this year, the Siren, we want to thank them for opening up their facility, the dance hall up there. What a nice place that is. You've played there several times. Tell the folks a little bit about the Siren, Louie.
I have. It's a great venue. I mean, a nice stage, and there's plenty of room for dancing if you feel so inclined.
They have a nice spot for that, don't they?
Yeah,
They've got
they
the
do.
sound booth up back, and it's pretty cool, man.
And I don't know if Kip's still there, but last time I was there, Kip was doing sound, and he's just phenomenal doing sound. So I'm excited about that. It's kind of nice to have basically have somebody drive the car.
You know what? And it's a good location.
It is.
And I just encourage folks. Just want to tell our audience that for this event, every ticket, in fact, tickets are available at my805tix.com for the event right now. And every ticket purchase, 100%, goes right towards the nonprofit. It goes right towards the Veteran Shuttle Express.
Oh, that's beautiful.
We've had sponsors come in that paid all the costs. We've had the Siren offer the facility totally free. We've had Slow Talk as a supporter. We're on board, And then we have Megan's Organic Market is also on board. They're coming forward this year again, and we're so grateful for that. And then also, oh my gosh, we've got a fourth sponsor in the community. Help me. Who is it? Somebody refresh my memory. It'll come back.
Okay.
So we've got 4 sponsors lined up, and room for more. We certainly have room for more.
Yeah, it's great when the community comes together for special events like this,
Yeah. Well, I was out driving the other day, and you know what I saw, Louie Ortega? I saw one of the white vans, and I saw your name on the van. What's that all about, man? That's pretty cool.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess a couple of years ago, or before the pandemic, anyway.
Yeah.
They, put my name on one of the ride-on vans
As a thank you.
As
huh?
a thank you, and it was really special.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That's pretty cool.
I still got those pictures.
Right on, right on.
Right on.
You know, Louie, it's interesting. In our community, we have veterans of every age. And, of course, we lived through the Vietnam War. And we're starting to see those guys, you know, our age and above, you know. And it's powerful to be part of something that supplies the transportation to help get them to the doctors, man.
Absolutely.
To me, that's the icing on the cake.
No, that's so true, you know, because a lot of times, it just all depends what people's means are, you know.
Yeah.
But it's nice to know that, you know, if you're not feeling well and you're a veteran, that, you know, you have help. Like you're saying, they'll pick you up, take you there, bring you back.
Yeah. You know what I'd like to do right now, Louie? You were... do we have any video of Louie at all to show? I know we've got some. Yeah, I think we need to show a little bit of video. Some of the folks may not have seen some of the bands. I mean, there's probably 10 that you've done that I know of, Louie. But we did a little something. Is that up at Sunset? I think it's a good time to show Sunset. Sunset Magazine Celebration Weekend up in Menlo Park. Louie, you came up with Talia and a bunch of the locals, and we actually have some video today that we're going to stream for people to see, man.
Oh, cool. I can't wait to see it myself.
Yeah.
Well, my friends say they want you to. I understand that. Se comió cadera, se quedó dormida y no apagó la vela. Cuando le dura, se comió cadera, se quedó dormida y no apagó la vela.
All right, we are back. We're back in the studio with Louie Ortega and Talia Ortega. That was pretty cool, Louie. I surprised you guys with that. That was actually up at Sunset Magazine. You folks came up and were part of the celebration weekend music on the main stage. And then, as I remember, you were involved in the Friday night music, VIP stuff, and then the Saturday night music was pretty cool.
It was. That was really a great event. You know, a big turnout.
Really enjoyed doing that right up there in Menlo Park, man. And then they had to go and sell that building. What's up with that, Louie?
Yeah, what's going on?
Anyway, Talia, do you remember that?
I do. It was one of my fond gig memories with my dad and friends.
And
what
friends.
a wonderful time.
Well, Sean Collins, Josh Collins, James Gallardo. Anybody else there? Ken Davis.
Ken Davis.
Oh my
Can't
gosh.
forget about that guy.
Oh my gosh, the whole crew right there. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, I want to shift gears. I'm so grateful that Talia's here with us today. You just did a record recently, and we actually have a couple of songs to cue up so folks can hear it, and then I understand you might be playing a little bit.
That sounds about right.
All right. And Louie, do you want to introduce the song Ruby that you and Talia put together?
Yes. It's actually the title track of the CD, or the name of the CD, Ruby, and the first track. And it's a song that we collaborated on. We co-wrote it. And we were thinking about, subjects and music and how we wanted to go about it, because we hadn't really co-written a lot of stuff before then. And we actually, through the CD, we co-wrote how many songs? 3, 4?
I think we co-wrote, about 3 or so.
Yeah. And so we're really proud of that. And so we were just brainstorming, and we thought, I said we should probably have a swing feel. I'm thinking a swing feel.
One of the numbers?
Yeah. And so then I asked Talia, I says, what would be a good progression, And then she came up with this progression that I said,
classic jazz standard stuff.
Yeah,
but it worked.
It really worked, and it's really infectious. And then we thought, let me see. How about we do a? Then we started batting around ideas as far as the subject matter. Yeah. And then at that time, Talia had some chickens, and so we decided, let's do a song about this girl that has sisters, and they are just watching all over her, and just making sure that everything's correct. And so she wants to go on this date, and her sisters are just,
all up in everybody's business.
A little over chaperone.
A little bit, yeah.
Ruby the over chaperone.
Yeah, so we always call it, the songs about chickens, we're not exaggerating.
There we go.
Foul
Is that a
joke,
dad
that
joke?
one.
A dad joke?
You know it.
All right, so that's the background, and we're going to cue up Ruby by Louie Ortega and Talia Ortega, title song from their latest record.
Ruby, you're always so happy. Your joy just lights up the room. Ruby, Ruby, sometimes your head's in the clouds, but it makes it easy to pick you out of the crowd. You always seem to have company, but Ruby, will there be time for me? Oh, Ruby, Ruby, darling, I like your sisters, but to this very day they still call me Mr. Ruby, Ruby, talk to me a while. I know I've got the best shot at making you smile. Pressing my lips to yours, would my feet come off the floor? I want to find out for sure. I've got a question on my mind. I better ask it.
Ask it.
Your love's my fascination. I hope it's a consideration when you're deciding what's best for you, Ruby. Please give me a chance. I'll always love you. I'll even learn how to dance. Ruby, I just need a minute with you to tell you how I feel. Please don't fly the coop. We've been friends forever, and you know that it's true, Ruby. I hope you feel this too. Oh yeah, Ruby, please feel it too. Oh Ruby, I love you.
Yeah, that was great. That was great, guys.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Thank you.
Title track, latest record, and that's available on LouieOrtega.net.
Correct.
LouieOrtegamusic.net.
Yeah, and then we're going to have it some of the local places. We haven't taken it to New Times yet, but we did. Go ahead, Talia. What was it?
Yeah, so another track off of that album that we co-wrote called Mi Perro won the open category for the last New Times Awards. And so we got to perform for the community and walk away with a beautiful trophy. And
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Little first place trophy, and
Oh man.
and then
Who else is playing on that cut, Ruby? Louie, I was just curious.
we have Greg Smith on the baritone sax. We have Dean Giles on percussion, drums and percussion. And then Ken Hustad, we have him on stand-up bass, electric bass, and cello.
Nice.
Then Talia and myself.
Yeah.
And then we actually have some background vocals with Joellen Tropper, Sean Collins, and Steve and Barbara Hurst.
Wow.
And then Talia and I. We kind of
Nice.
set up the perimeter.
And where'd you guys record that at?
We recorded it in Cambria at Painted Sky Studios
okay.
before Steve Krimmel, went to Hawaii. So we were one of the last projects
Before he sold the
to
place?
skate out.
Before he flew the coop?
Yeah, well said, well said.
Anyway, we actually have another cut that we're going to play, County Line, from your Ruby CD or album.
Yes.
And I think we're going to just talk a little bit about it as we're streaming the song.
Sure.
And maybe comment, director's cut here.
Oh, yeah.
Where it came from and, County Line.
It's I wrote this. It was a group of songs that I came out, about 3 songs. Sometimes I write in groups.
Yeah.
And so this one just came out. It was about trying to get home as fast as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And actually it was recorded by Sir Douglas Quintet too. So it was released in Europe as well. And then this is the first time we did it with Talia and I.
Oh, this was a Sir Douglas Quintet release.
Yeah, he really liked this song. So he said, "Mind if I do one of your songs, brother?" And I go, "No." I said, "That's cool with me."
Yeah.
Wow.
And then Talia and I do the harmony work on this. And she does some beautiful flute work as well.
Thanks. And this is actually one of my favorite songs of my dad's. I've loved it for years, and I was so excited when he brought it forward to be one of the tracks on the album. I was like, yes, finally.
That's really exciting. And then you got to put your own stamp on it.
Yeah, or to just really add and bolster the artistry that he put down.
And what did you play, besides a little bit of vocals, what else did you do on this song?
I did
Talia?
vocals and flute, and I wrote out the horn lines for Mr. Greg Smith, and we had a lovely time tracking those together.
Arranger, you're an arranger too.
Oh, that is a very tiny feather in my cap, the tiniest, if you will.
I'm so proud of my girl.
I'm just watching the road unwind.
And who doesn't love a good driving song?
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Inside. Baby, I'll be seeing you before daylight. You bet I'll be breaking some records tonight if I could. I'll be traveling at the speed of light. I got the pedal pressed down to the floor, so I know it's as fast as it goes. And if something don't blow, I'll be seeing you before daylight.
And like we were talking about earlier, all these tracks were pretty much done live, minimal overdubbing.
There's Greg Smith on the Barry sax.
Oh
That's
yeah,
right.
he's a monster.
Wow.
Yeah, Greg was in the Eagles horn section for a long time.
I understood that. And I guess he would show up at Madison Square Gardens when they would do their 6-night runs. Greg would be right there front and center, man. It's
Yeah.
pretty. It doesn't get much bigger than that, Louie.
Oh, no, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You can spot him as well if you watch the documentary they released.
Really?
Yeah,
For the
there's
Eagles?
there's some clips of Greg in there.
Is that Hell Freezes Over?
I think so.
Probably. I think so.
He's so funny. They made me wear that.
I'll be seeing you before daylight. You bet I'll be breaking some records.
These harmonies were so fun to do with a voice where we share a lot of genetic material, you know, like we have a similar build anyway, and so it's so fun to do the harmonies with a voice that shares some similarities to mine.
That's neat. That's
Yeah.
really neat.
It's a good time.
Same timbre.
Timber, that's the proper word.
Something don't blow, I'll be seeing you before daylight.
Is the official name of your ensemble Ortega and Ortega?
It might be now.
It might be now, yeah.
Ortega with the the little square
do.
two. Yeah.
Oh,
There you
Ortega
go.
too. Oh, I like that.
Thanks.
Ortega squared.
Or we can call it 00 something.
Yeah. Hey,
double,
I love that.
double Ortega. Double Ortega. A lot of fun, you guys.
Yeah, kudos to Clint Bear for a beautiful instrument he built me. So I mostly just played acoustic guitar through all the sessions.
I love this outro that you do. Some great ideas. It's one of my favorite tracks on the album, personally.
That's so nice. So nice. And that recorded at Painted Sky Studios in Cambria.
Correct, with
Nice.
Steve Kreml.
Steve Kreml. I remember Steve. And Steve's now in Hawaii, you said?
He is.
Oh, my gosh. From Painted Sky to Painted Sky, huh?
Yeah, soaking up them rays.
Yeah.
Guys, it sounds like just the making of the album was a lot of fun. The collaborating, the writing, the singing, bringing the players in, all people you've worked with before. And just you give that full, fun, live vibe. It comes right across on the record.
Yeah, it was, pretty smooth concept. We had talked about it for quite a while. And then putting it together, the Hearst people, we do events for them periodically. And so they wanted to be involved a little bit with the project and stuff. So we thought, well, we'll do some songs that we do for them at their events, And so we do some covers, but we do it our way,
Your way.
So they're just, people say, oh, he Louie-ized it. or-
Louie-ized, I love it.
But it could be Talia-ized, too.
Ortega eyes.
Ortega-ized.
there you
we're coming up with some new vernacular here.
00I.
I did it my way, part 2.
Yeah, so it was really fun to do, and the players are just great players and just good people, so it was really smooth.
Now, have you guys had the opportunity at New Times Music Awards you performed? Have you had the opportunity? I know you're going to perform here in a little bit. Have you had the opportunity to do some of these songs, different locations?
Yes. And when we can, we try to do. I mean, one of the main staples is Ruby, and
Nice.
and we'll do County Line and stuff like that.
You know where I'm going. We're looking forward to hearing these songs at the concert, Louie. That'd be a blast, man.
Yes, it
It's
will.
one thing to hear a record. When you hear it live, the record never sounds the same again. I don't know if that happens to you guys, but I hear a record and then I see the 3D animated live performance. I come back to the record with a different mindset.
That's true.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to hearing some of your songs live, man.
Yeah, and that's why I really wanted to record it live as well.
Yeah.
So this way, it's like you still get that feel, and
Yeah.
and I mean, we did it to click tracks, but we didn't track one instrument. Then let's lay the other one on.
Yeah.
We all played at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To hear each other. And,
Right.
The rapport is really important for, I feel, music in general, but especially the way that we both approach music. The mind meld is one of the most integral
the mind meld.
concepts. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't even have to be looking at that other person visually, right? It's nice if you have that. But I guess when the mind meld magic happens, you can get it without looking at the person.
Oh, it's absolutely. You just be having your headphones on, and then all of a sudden somebody will just play a cool little riff, and you just kind of go, oh yeah, okay, we're there.
We're going there. All right. Yeah.
And we talked about that just as we were starting the show out. We talked about downstairs being in the studio, and when the magic starts to unfold, it's unmistakable. And it doesn't always happen. I mean, we'd like to say it does, but it doesn't.
It's true.
But when it does, everybody gets goosebumps. I mean, look, you're in that room and you're going, man, something happened here,
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, I think maybe we should shift gears and maybe play some songs. Are y'all ready for that?
Let's do
Sure.
it.
Let's put a little buffer slide up, Griffin, and we'll buy a little time, and then maybe play a little bit of music, and then bring Louie and Talia up live. Can we do that? All right. We'll be right back with you shortly. Thank you so much. You're listening to Slow Talk Live on YouTube. right, we're back live here at Slow Talk Studios for Slow Talk Live. I'm your host, James Davis, and it's my privilege to introduce a couple of live songs with Louie Ortega and Talia Ortega. And I'll let them do their picks, and here they go.
Okay. Yeah, the first one we're going to do is a song by David Gray that was a popular song around the campfire. And tell them about it, Talia.
I actually heard this song for the first time done by David Plum, who is another wonderful local musician, at the Cambria Pines Lodge when I was just a wee babe. And I fell in love with the words, and they have always rung true for me throughout my life. So I hope you enjoy Babylon. Well, a Friday night, I'm going nowhere. All the lights are changing from green to red, and turning over TV stations, situations running through my head. Well, looking back through time, it's clear that I've been blind, and I've been a fool to open up my heart to all that jealousy, that bitterness, and that ridicule. Well, a Saturday I'm running wild. All the lights are changing from red to green, and sifting through the crowds I'm pushing, chemicals are rushing in my bloodstream. I only wish that you were here. I'm seeing it so clear. I've been afraid to tell you how I really feel, admit to some of those bad mistakes I've made. And so, if you want it, come and get it, for crying out loud, crying out loud. This love that I was giving you was never in doubt. Let go of your heart, let go of your head, and feel it now. Let go of your heart, let go of your head, and feel it now. Babylon. Well, Sunday, all the lights are slow, shiny sky is fading red to blue, and kicking through those summer leaves, wondering where it is I'll be going to. Oh, but turning back for home, I'm feeling so alone that I cannot believe. But standing on the stair, I turn around to see you smiling there in front of me. And so, if you want it, come and get it, for crying out loud, crying out loud. This love that I was giving you was never in doubt. Let go of your heart, let go of your head, and feel it now. Let go
guys. I love that song and I love the harmonies.
Thank you.
No, really, what you were saying about timbre and genetics and stuff, it all came together really strong right here in front of me. That was beautiful.
I got good genes.
Good genes. Genes that work well together.
Genes that fit anyway.
Designer genes.
Right.
All right. Double O.
You guys have another song for us?
We do. I'm going to sing a song that I wrote actually before I met the Queen of King City, which is called King City. I wrote this song before I think there was iPhones, because I remember pulling over the side of the road and writing it down on a piece of paper.
Old school.
Yeah, it was old school writing for sure. And so I had written the song, and then then I met Joe, Queen of King City, and so we had a standing joke saying maybe I should have written a song about maybe $20 million at the same day. So.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I met both on the same day. There's another song coming, Lou.
Yeah. There you go. This is King City. There's a woman that lives on the other side of the valley. She's good with horses and her mane is long. We spend some special times in a Arroyo Seco, swimming in the river and sitting by the fire. I'd sing songs. It was first light in a field of California poppies. I swear I'd never ever seen her look so pretty. I twirled her slowly like a ballerina, and I made her smile when I called her the Queen of King City. Just outside of San Juan Bautista, there's mountains filled with their caves and their mysteries. We used to joke if we ever found Joaquin's buried treasure, I'd be the king of the Queen of King City. We used to ring the bells on the El Camino Real, run the roads, we'd roam wild and free, yeah. And just out past the San Antonio Mission, I carved her name in an old oak tree. Our love was deep like the Salinas River. Her spirit landed in Carmel by the sea. She said she liked that it was cooler there in the summers. Queen of King City. Mighty fine.
Oh my gosh, you guys, that was so good. Thank you so much. That was amazing hearing you two perform that together. Is that song on the record?
It is.
I'm so excited. I've not heard that yet. Have to check that out. That is such a magical song, Louie, and it takes you through a visual journey, man.
Yeah, it's the first time I ever kind of incorporated geography with love, because I love writing great love songs, and it just all came out that way.
That's beautiful, and it wasn't stuck in Lodi.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was a real positive geography. No, that's got magic, and thank you for including that not only today but on your record. I'm looking forward to hearing that. And so for our folks that have tuned in today and streamed, I want to thank everybody, or thank Louie Ortega and Talia Ortega. And thank you, folks, for tuning in and checking out these amazing artists and friends. Now, if folks hear the music and going, we got to get that for ourselves, where do they go again, Louie?
They can go to my site, louieortega.net, and then when we launch it here locally, they'll probably be able to pick it up at Boo Boo Records, I would think.
CD relaunch, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
So, but for now, they can go to the site, and then I've got a CD for you and one for Griffin. Thank you guys for taking care of us today.
Oh, my gosh, we appreciate that. And I want to remind our listeners that Louie Ortega and the All-Stars, including a guest appearance by his daughter Talia Ortega, is coming up on, just established today. Write that down, Talia.
I know.
Coming up on Sunday, November 6th at the Siren Morro Bay, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Tickets are available right now at my805tix.com. Want to thank Dining for Charities. Dining for Charities is one of our sponsors. Check them out online, diningforcharities.com. And also check out slowtalk.com. We offer podcasting services. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And thank you guys again. It was absolutely great. Appreciate you and love you guys.
Oh, it was
Thank
a
you,
ball.
James.
Yeah, thank you.
The feeling is mutual.
All right. See you next time.
Yes, sirree.